So because of the time, it's on to start our webinar. So before start the program, I would like to invite you to honor to the Cambodian national flag and anthem. Thank you. So good afternoon again, and today we will talk about a topic that related to the tourism. And our song, national song, is related to the first part. It talk about our king, and the second part it talk about our temple, that is our heritage, and the last part it talk about our religion also. So the topic today it talk about the impacts of the COVID-19 on tourism in Cambodia and what is coming after the pandemic. And today we have a guest speaker, Mr. Min Vandet. He is the Director of Tourism Professional Training Department of the Ministries of Tourism of Cambodia. So before we go to the next part, I would like to invite Bishop Olivier to have a welcome speech. Please, Bishop.
Lư xâm lệnh cho mọi
Lư được bạn.
Chúng nó có lẽ test cho
thì ra ba group lo bị bán như vậy
cho một tiếng gọi làm nữa một thông số mà của group bị mình bồi dưỡng ở ngày ní cứ lúc miền bằng đất để một cái sung test cho happy to meet all of you, especially our friends from Philippines, from Japan, from Germany, and friends from Cambodia. Today I am in a special place and the right place to open this webinar about impact of COVID-19 on tourism in Cambodia. In fact, I am just on the place that we have a big tourism project in our Catholic Church in Phnom Penh. This place called Paradise Farm. And I am preparing now a big program of ecotourism. Yes, you can see behind me a big restaurant, and it's a part of our ecotourism program. In our big farm, we will have a bamboo train. Yes, we just finished to install a bamboo train, and we can visit our eco farm with organic compote paper, with dragon fruit, with mango trees, with plenty of animals like pig, cow, goat, duck, chicken, and a lot of organic vegetable also. So the people will come here, the Khmer people as well the foreigner, and they can go by the train and they can eat the food that they I am in the right place. But because COVID-19, we cannot start, and everything is very slow. Yes, but I see that COVID-19 is also a good, not good, but is also impact on tourism for the Khmer people, the local tourism. And, because now we have no foreigner, since 1 year, we see that the Khmer people have occasion to visit more their own place, especially Angkor Wat, Siem Reap, especially Kampot, Kaep, the place I am now, and especially Sihanoukville. And also now is the time for discover the new places with a natural place, like Phnom Ural, like the mountain Bokor, or Kirirom mountain. So they go for the camping. So that is very new way that we can see thanks COVID-19. I cannot speak about now because now we are very scaring about Delta variant, but I can say that last year and until 20 February of this year, that we have not a local transmission of COVID-19. I think for the Khmer people, they can have a new culture of tourism in their own country, and especially cultural tourism and natural tourism. Yes, so I am happy that we have this seminar today, and very happy to have our friends from Philippines. I can see Tida, a long time that we didn't meet, and Japanese friend, konnichiwa, genki desu ka? Kino wa watashi wa Kyoto no video mimashita. Natsukashi. I stay in Japan for many years, and yesterday just I look the video about Kyoto, so I hope one day I can go again. And very welcome from our friend from Germany, especially
Italy,
and Italy also. So thanks to our rector, Sopol, to prepare this seminar with our tourism section and the student life office. I hope we can share and receive guidance and be guided. God bless you, and please start. I will not speak more, but I am in the right place to speak about impact of tourism on COVID-19. Take care and God bless.
Thank you, Bishop. So next, I would like to invite Mr. Principal, Directors of St. Paul Institute, to have welcome speech to the guest speaker and participant with introduction, please.
Okay, thank you, Dutch. I would like to say good afternoon to all participants here in Cambodia and from Cambodia, from different places. Also from good afternoon to all friends from Philippines, from Indonesia, Japan. And good mornings to all participants from Italy and Germany. Yeah, I would like to pay my respects to Bishop Olivier, our guest speaker, Mr. Mien Van Det, a participant from NGO, company, student and staff from St. Paul Institute, participants from Sophia University in Tokyo, participants from Sanbida University, also from St. Louis University in Philippines, and students and formator from IFA, Philippines, and from Notre Dame University, Australia, from Indonesia, and from Germany, and from participants from Bergamo University in Italy. First, I would like to take these opportunities to express my sincere appreciation and thank accordingly to Ministry of Tourism of Cambodia to open for collaboration between St. Paul Institute and Tourism Professional Training Department of Ministry of Tourism of Cambodia. Indeed, as well as we all know, COVID-19 pandemic arise to cause with many troubling movements in Cambodia and worldwide. It affects a lot of sectors in Cambodia, societies, and all nations in the world. And currently, COVID-19, especially with Delta, is increasing cases day by day in Cambodia and also different countries that's caused a lot of preventing activity from Cambodia government, such as lockdown some provinces for 2 weeks, now still locking down, and including Siem Reap, where Angkor Wat is located. And many markets and different provinces have closed. Restaurant, bar, nightclub in the whole of country have to be closed. Many business services related to tourists have to be closed, and school all level have to be closed and apply online. So in fact, according to the research from Charisma and William in 2019 and 2020 and 2021, that Cambodia is now adverse impact of 4 sectors that's impacted COVID-19 for Cambodia economy. First is agriculture, second manufacturing, and third is tourism, and fourth is construction and business sector. Tourism in Cambodia, for instance, the tourist sector in Cambodia is one of very important, which contribute 12% of gross domestic product, GDP in 2019. If we include all business service related tourism is around 30% in 2019. And 13.6 of total employment directly from March 2020 to March 2021, as tourists cannot no longer holiday abroad. For instance, between January and February 2020 and 2021, the number of foreign tourists visiting Angkor Wat decreased day by day. On 20 May 2020, Cambodia removed a ban on visitors from France, Germany, Iran, Italy, Spain, and the US. But despite this easing, tourists from this country are required to present a health certificate for entries, which certifies that the passenger has been tested negative for COVID-19. In addition, traveler enter to Cambodia needs to undergo a health assessment between May 2019 and May 2020, and currently traveler needs to do quarantine for 14 days or up to 21 days or more than that, either in the hotel, guest house, or a quarantine place where government of Cambodia had prepared. So the number of carry went down very fast and still reducing every day. We hope Cambodia will open its door to welcome foreign tourists soon, and we hope all countries in the world can travel freely in 2022 or 2023. We don't know yet during this uncertain condition of COVID-19. Dear Bishop, ladies and gentlemen, and all participants and friends of SPI, today is a good time to let us reflect together on the topic, the impact of COVID-19 on tourism in Cambodia. What is coming after the pandemic, not just for Cambodia, but for all countries in the world. And this topic is good to reflect as global from different tourism departments, as higher education level from different universities, institutions, NGOs, companies, and most importantly, from governments. Hence, today we can exchange ideas, reflect, and sharing deeply from different perspectives. Of course, this time is a good time that we have participants from different countries, different perspectives, so we can hear, can share from each other based on the experience and from your areas. So now, to start this webinars, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our guest speaker today lecture is Mr. Min Van Det. Currently, he is a PhD candidate in tourism and hospitality management in ASEAN Tourism Master Assessor and trainer from STB Bali Tourism Institution. Currently, he is a Director of Tourism Professional Training, Department of the Ministry of Tourism of Cambodia. He was a lecturer of the School of Business for English track courses at the University of Cambodia and teaching professional in tourism management field. He has been teaching many other courses, including hospitality and tourism management, leadership skill, international marketing, human resource management. For outstanding ASEAN Tourism Master Trainer and Assessor, he was in charge of instructing and conducting training of ASEAN and Cambodian Master Trainer and Master Assessor, as well as trainer on tourism, specializing in housekeeping along hotel, tourism professional training center to be aimed at improving Cambodian tourism professional qualification and competency to lead to their mobility to work with the ASEAN member states. Bishop, ladies and gentlemen, and all participants, please welcome Mr. Min Van Det. So I would like to give this conference webinars to Mr. Min Van Det. Thank you very much. Enjoy this session. Yeah.
Thank you. Very good afternoon, dear Excellencies, distinguished participants from the university, from several countries. So before starting for my presentation, I just would like to be clear that if you could not listen to my presentation, just let me know. First of all, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Singapore Institute, especially for inviting me to be the guest speaker for this afternoon webinar on the impact of the COVID to the tourism in Cambodia. With the permission by Excellency Minister, on behalf of the Tourism Industry Directorate and on behalf of the Training Department of the Tourism, of the Ministry of Tourism, I just would like to express my sincere thanks to all the participants which are from the university and also the relative representative from the NGO and also the lecturer and professor from the university from Malaysia, from Indonesia, Australia, Italy, and another country that I could not mention all of you here. So as Mr. Ponsapol's speech earlier, that Cambodia, as many the country in the world challenging the COVID crisis. So today, on behalf of the Ministry of Tourism, I just here to share the information and the information related to the impact of the COVID-19 on the tourism in Cambodia. So I have a slide and I would like to share to you all. Right, everybody, did you see a share screen of my slide presentation?
Yes, yes, yes. I see. I see.
Okay, let's move back to the first slide. All right. So my presentations will be talk about the impact of the COVID-19 on the Cambodia tourism. And today I have some points that will be mentioned on this presentation. The first will be pre and post-COVID Cambodian tourism situations. And second, I will mention about the impact of the COVID-19 on the tourism ecosystem. That should be the general aspect of the tourism ecotourism before we look through in detail about the impact on the Cambodia tourism. And the third point, I will tell you about the route map of the Cambodia tourism recovery development plans within and after the COVID-19 crisis. And fourth point, I will raise a strategy policy and priority activity for 2022. And the fifth will be on the tourism professional training plan within and after the COVID-19 crisis. That will be the key point for our priority activity on 2022. And the sixth point I will raise about the training plan for a vaccinated tourist ready for 2021 and 2022. That also just mentioned by Mr. Ponsaport on his speech. And seventh, I will talk about the role of the tourism relevant stakeholders for tourism recovery and development after the COVID crisis. So this is the whole content for my presentation. I will move to pre and post COVID-19 Cambodian tourism situations. So I would like to share about the statistics according to the Tourism Statistics Department of the Ministry of Tourism. We can see the whole year of the 2020 that in the total we get international tourists of 1,036,000 people. That seem to be decreased 80% if we compare to the same period of the whole year of 2019. That's, we can say, after we are affected by COVID-19, that caused the decrease of the international tourists to Cambodia. And if we move to 5 months early of 2021, that we can say by May 2021, we got a total of international tourist arrival to Cambodia of around 91,000 people. But it seems the number is still be the decreased number if we compare the same period of 5 months in 2022. It means like the international tourists seem to be increasing decrease. Yes, decrease in terms of the number to Cambodia. So this is a statistic that we can see that the impact of tourists by COVID-19 to Cambodia tourism. So we have also projected for our Cambodian tourism as well. Like for 2022, if we consider that tourism will be a law for openly again. So that's why we estimate that the international tourists might be increased by 20 to 30% by 2022 for the international tourist arrival to Cambodia. And we also estimate for the 2023, we might get around 2.5 or 3.5 million international tourists to Cambodia by 2023, because we think we will have many event and tourism products that can be attractive product to encourage those international tourists to Cambodia, like as the SEA Games that will be held in 2023. That's a significant event that can be attract the international tourists to Cambodia. So based on that, we can estimate for the expected tourist arrival to Cambodia by 2.5 to 3.5 million people to Cambodia for 2023. However, to 2025, we might expect optimistically that tourism might be increased to 7 million at the same time before a COVID crisis challenges. So this is our tourism projections, but might be something can be changed depending on the circumstances happening. So that's why our effort, we try to promote tourism as many as people traveling to Cambodia. So now we can move to another point. That's the second point. I will talk about the impact on the Cambodian tourism. But before we go through and look at the impact of the COVID-19 on the Cambodian tourism, we should in general be aware of the general aspect or definition about the tourism ecosystem, because it's important for us to know what are the tourism ecosystem. So referring to a World Bank blog in 2015, that's mentioned the tourism referred to a social and cultural and economic phenomenon that entail the movement of the people to countries and places outside their usual environment for a personal, a business, or a professional purposes. However, the ecosystem, it refers to a conflict of the living organism, their physical environment, and all their interrelationship in a particular unit of the space. So when we look through the tourism industry ecosystem, there's four main sectors that will be considered and also seriously affected by COVID-19. The first might be accommodation service. That's accommodation service. There are sub-sectors like a hotel, a guest house, or homestay, or what are the other accommodations service that can be counted for the accommodation service. For the tourism travel operator, that we can mention like a travel agency, tour operation, a travel office, something like this. It also another part which are affected by the COVID crisis as well. And the other important sector like transportations and hospitality. Transportation, you also know about the airline, cruise, a bus, or another transportation means. So a hospitality sector is the key sector for tourism. So hospitality might related to F&B, restaurant, something like this. Sometimes they refer to the leisure activities, sport tourism, also the part of hospitality. So these are the sector and subsector for the tourism industry ecosystem. So it's noticeable that there are 5 subsectors in the tourism ecosystem that are huge affected by COVID-19. The first is travel agency and visit attraction. That visitor attraction right here, it's also include the community-based tourism, something like that, and another destinations, food and beverage operation, and accommodation. So refer to the World Bank blog again, 2015. I just would like to mention and show you the slide, I just would like to focus on if we have the well management, and we also push all everything work well, so we will have a good outcome that can be lead to the sustainable job and investment and inclusive growth, especially the improvement of the quality of life for the community as well. So at this point, I just mentioned if we are not think or work together to push all the factors to be work well, so it's mean like we will face the problem. As for the COVID-19 cause, you know, many challenges for tourism in Cambodia, like a job, and investment and business are facing the problem. Also, it also related to the problem for the community as well. When there are no tourists, so the community will have the problem with no job, with no business. So the living standard of the community will be low. So that's it, the thing that we have to focus on the ecosystem of tourism. So this is the general aspect of the tourism ecosystem. So now we look at together about the impact of the COVID-19 on the Cambodia tourism. What are the effects on the tourism in Cambodia? It's not working. All right. So here, I just would like to share some data related to the postponed business and work, reopening business and worker labor force in tourism. The impact of the COVID-19 on tourism business and work in Cambodia, I just would like to raise like the data that can be demonstrated seen Cambodia is affected by the COVID-19. By June 25, 2021, there's 3,177 postponed businesses, which is equivalent to 30.66% compared to the total business of around 10,363. And which there 50,000 tourism workers are affected by the COVID-19 crisis, which is equivalent to 40.52% compared to a total business worker of around 123,945 people. And currently we have seen some business reopen. It's around 487 have been reopened, and which provide the work job for around 4,034 workers. So this is the impact of the COVID-19 on the Cambodia tourism ecosystem. And to solve this situation, for the Ministry of Tourism, as the wing of the royal government of the Kingdom of Cambodia, and under the brilliant supervision and leadership of Excellency Dr. Thamko, Minister of Tourism, he advised to all departments, especially to the Tourism Industry Directorate, to develop a plan for a tourism recovery and development. So based on that, the document is very important for the restart and develop the tourism within and after the COVID crisis. So the royal government of Kingdom Cambodia have decided and has adopted that a strategy and a strategic plan that's called as a roadmap on the Cambodia tourism recovery and development plan within and after the COVID-19 crisis on March 30, 2021. That I have the photo on this, but in Khmer. maybe another foreign participant cannot read that meaning on the photo of that route map. So I just would like go through in detail for the roadmap of Cambodia Tourism Recovery and Development Plan within and after the COVID-19 crisis. For that roadmap, we have focused on three main steps. That the first step we call as the restart step. That first step focus on the crisis management in the new normal and a tourism restart plan development that we define the period by 2020 to 2021. And second step is the recovery step for the tourism that focus on recovery and enhancements of tourism after the COVID-19. That's a period of the implementation of the state between 2022 to 2023. And the last step, third stage, it's called as the relaunching stage that focus on chartering the brilliant future of tourism by 2024 to 2025. So for the first stage, it seems to be like a tourism resilient situation. That's a situation for making it stable for the tourism and resilient for the tourism as well. And the both two second step and third step that seem to be the tourism sustainability at the main step for the development and recovery for tourism. So both states that can say that it like the situation of turning the challenge into the opportunity. It's mean like we have to do everything to be making the tourism stable, resilient, and together with development, everything, including a strategy for recovery and development for the tourism, seem to be like the opportunity to improve everything, including a product and a service improvement for the tourism sustainability. So everything is a challenge, but the challenge will be turned into the opportunity. This is what the vision and the perspective of a tourism ministry. So I would also share to all of you as well about what are the activities, what are happening in the coming to recover or develop a tourism after the COVID-19. So there's there are several activities for each step. So I just would like to share by another slide. So the first step that called out restart step by 2022 to 2021. There are three strategies. The first strategy, it referred to the financial support for the tourism businesses and the workers. That's the strategy have implemented until now. And the second strategy referred to promoting domestic tourism and ready for receiving international tourists. Because the domestic tourists, that is important for all another country as well around the world, because international tourists cannot travel to each country, but each country can focus on their own domestic tourism. So for domestic tourism is another strategy, but along with promoting the domestic tourism, we also prepare everything to improve for receiving international tourists as well. That is another strategy that I will mention after the slide. And third strategy, it referred to improving tourism governance. So each strategy have several detailed activity that I will show you in the table of the detailed activity after this. All right, so here is the first step of the restart strategy. For the first strategy, refer to the financial support that you can see on the first column for a tourism private sector and workers. There are 10 detailed activity. That the first activity, like we have to take measure to support the economy to be aimed at reducing impact on the tourism industry. Second, we have to continuously follow up the impact the COVID-19 on the tourism economy in and after a COVID-19 crisis. And third activity, we have to provide support for a tourism SME. And the fourth activity, we have to relaunch a tourism value chain toward the sustainable development and a local economic enhancement. A value chain right here, that's it. I just would like to tell you, like vegetable, something to support, like agriculture, like good or another thing that can support for the service providers or tourism product value chain. So we have to relaunch that again for the sustainable development and local economic enhancements. And fifth activity, we have to encourage the implementation and promotion of a tourism safety measure. As we currently, under advice by Excellency Minister, the Ministry of Tourism focus on the promotion of the tourism safety measure to be implemented regularly by a tourism industry, including restaurant and hotel. Yes, and this activity have been implemented. And the sixth activity, we have to encourage the use of a digital technology in tourism industry. Technology in tourism is very important. As you see, every subsector in the tourism have to use a technology to support their activity, including travel, especially like promotions or sell a tourism product or service, including a training in a tourism as well. We have to use digital technology to support for their activity. So the next action plan activity, like we have to promote the ownership of restarting a tourism by using the existing tourism talents and resources. And we have also organized to start up business competitions, because the competition is encouraging mechanism for allow the business SME to like improve their business to be ready for tourism welcome. And the noise activity for the first strategy as well, we have to build up the qualification for a tourism worker to be ready for tourism restarting stage. Like we have to train them, reskill and upskill them to be ready to provide excellent service for a tourist. And the last detailed activity for the first strategy, we have to conduct a study on the Cambodia Tourism Enhancement Fund. It's important for this point as well. So let me go to the second strategy related to the promoting domestic tourism and ready for receiving international tourists, but we focus on the controllably specified tourists. So for this strategy, we have a domestic tourism promotion campaign, and we have to develop a mechanism for facilitating domestic traveling and tourism in the new normal. And we have also to promote the campaign on promoting a tourism destination and a resort by use a digital platform, by online, something like that. And another activity, we have to develop the physical infrastructure to support and promote domestic tourism. And we have also to be ready to welcome international tourists, but we just start at the national level as tourists. And for the readiness to welcome international tourists at the regional level, we have to promote a campaign. Cambodia is waiting for everybody, for you, for all international tourists. And we have to provide a comprehensive information related tourism travel restriction measure. And we have also to promote a Cambodia tourism destination as a safe tourism destination. We have organized a campaign on the Cambodia as a clean and green and safe destination. And we have also continuously to promote clean city, clean resort, and good service campaign that we have also promoted. And we have also to conduct a study and mechanism for one-way and closed-loop charter planes that some countries is called as like a travel bubble or a safe travel pass with a regional country, including ASEAN +3 as well. And we have to conduct a study mechanism for the self-driving tool. It's another program, but we will work with the neighboring country. And we have to build up the international cooperation toward the restarting tourism and push for the quality tourism. And we continue to develop more new product and service for tourism. This is a second strategy for this. And another strategy for the strategy step 1, it related to the improving tourism governance. That the detailed activity include like we have to conduct a study and mechanism for tourism governance at the national level. We have to build up the infrastructure in response to post-COVID-19 crisis stage. We have to develop a tourism governance at the national, sub-national level. And we create a tourism destination, a unit. That unit is very important for a capital city province and the main destination as well to manage their own tourism destination. And we have to develop tourism governance at the tourism operator level as well for the tourism industry. And we continue to develop a tourism product quality improvement plan. This is the detailed activities for the step 1 for the crisis management. And I would like to share another step 2 that's called as the recovery step. The period between 2022 to 2023. They are also the same 3 strategy. Like the first strategy is a recovery of a tourism economy and employment. Right here, we focus on the strengthening of a tourism economy and employment for the tourism workers. And the strategy 2, we focus on the recovery and of international tourism market and the promotion of the domestic tourism. And the third strategy of the step 2 of recovery step is launching new tourism governance. So for the detailed activity of this strategy, for the recovery tourism economy and employment, there are 4 activities. The first, we have to continuously carry out the supporting program for SME. For this year as well, 22, 23, we have to continue to improve the productivity in the tourism industry to through reskilling, upskilling, and encourage their knowledge and skill in using a technology to support their work and business in the tourism. And another activity, we have to enhance a tourism professional development in the new normal after COVID-19. And the last activity for the first strategy 1, we have to develop a digital and technology ecosystem for the smarter tourism development. For the second strategy of recovery of international tourism market and promotion of domestic tourism, we have a 9 detailed activity for this strategy. The first, we have to promote the Cambodian tourism branding as the Cambodia Kingdom of Wonder. Second activity, we have diversify and branding Cambodian tourism product. And third activity of the strategy, we have to continue to improve the air connectivity. And fourth activity, we have to conduct a study on the youth tourism market trend and tourist behavior after the COVID-19 crisis. And we still continue to encourage the attraction of Cambodia as a my food and eco-tourism, adventure tourism. And we also have to develop the digital tourism marketing and promotion plans called reputation of tourism of Cambodia to the international market. 7th activity, we have to continuously cooperate with a regional and ASEAN plus 3 tourism market in developing a self-traveling and a tourism and self-driving tour mechanism. And for the activity, we have to continuously promote domestic tourism. And the last activity for the second strategy, we have to increase the attractiveness and promotion of the Cambodia as a sport tourism. It's another interesting part of a tourism product. It's a sport tourism. For the third strategy, we have to focus on the 4 detailed activity of the launching new tourism governance mechanism. That is, we have to strengthen the public-private partnership on tourism marketing and promotions, and we have to build up capacity on the e-administration by using a technology for tourism development and management. And we have to focus on carrying out Cambodian National Tourism Strategy Plans by 2022 to 2035. And a Siem Mandulkri and Cap Development Master Plan. And the last activity of the strategy, we have to strengthen tourism international cooperations. For the last step of the roadmap is the relaunching step. The period of the relaunching step between 2024 to 2025. This step also have a 3 strategy. The first strategy, it referred to promoting economic growth and decent work in tourism. Second strategy, resilience of domestic tourism and promoting Cambodian tourism to the international tourism market. And the third strategy is the future tourism governance. So let's go through in detail for the detailed activity of the step 3. So for the first strategy, promoting economic growth and decent work in tourism, we have 3 detailed activity. The first, we have to promote and enhance smart tourism development in response to Industrial Revolution 4.0. And second activity, we have diversified a new attractive and quality tourism product. And third activity of this strategy is continuing to provide training for the tourism people in response to a tourism human resources development plan. For the second strategy, have 4 detailed activity. The first, we have to continuously promote the tourism campaign, as mentioned above. And we have to continue attract a long-haul tourism market to Cambodia. And the third activities, we have to organize and promote major international events like a tourism sport event, cultural tourism event, etc., to attract more tourists to Cambodia, including a SEA Games in 2023 as well, another sport event that can be attractive event for tourism to Cambodia. And the last 4 activity of the second strategy is we have to strengthen domestic tourism movement in a sustainable manner. For the last strategy, which is a future tourism governance, we have to strengthen governance for the supporting tourism at all levels through continuing to implement the national and subnational governance mechanism toward digital government together with international management unit mechanism along tourist destination. And we have also to develop a mechanism for building up a resilient and responding to a crisis in the tourism sector that's called as the crisis management. So this is the detailed activity and the strategy for the roadmap of the Cambodia's tourism recovery and development plan for 2021 to 2025. So right here, I just would like to share to all of you about the key priority activity and a strategic policy for 2022. As we can say, everybody are affected by the COVID-19 in terms of investment, business, and job. So for this situation, for the priority years of 2022, we have to main 3 activity. The first, we have to focus on the training, reskilling, and upskilling the people who have been working for the tourism industry. And we have also focused on the domestic tourism, digital marketing, and promotion. It's very important for this situation. And another key activity for the 2022, it refers to the focusing on the tourism product development. That can be community tourism, eco-tourism, rural tourism, yes, and another tourism product as well. Yes, we have to focus on the diversification and development of the new tourism and product and services. This is the key strategic policy and activity for 2022. So, as I mentioned earlier about the product development and also the domestic tourism, digital marketing and promotion. But what I would like to share to you in detail right here, it refers to the training, reskilling, and upskilling. This is the key for the 2022, because why? As the situation of challenging the COVID-19, many people lost their job. Some people, they move to their homeland. Some people, they have to find another different job to work to support their life. That's why in order to sustain the skilled labor in the tourism, a training, reskilling, upskilling is important to upgrade their skill to be ready to welcome back the tourism in the future. So I just would like here to share to you in detail about training, reskilling, upskilling. Like for my department, we have developed a tourism, a training development plan. So I would like to share to you in detail. It's a strategic plan to improve the service quality and tourism professional in a quality and quantity manner to be aimed at the reaching of a tourism recovery and development plan 2021-2025 that I just mentioned earlier. So for this training plan, we have a 9 strategy. The first strategy, it refers to encouraging a training and capacity building for the official and relevant stakeholder, in providing tourism services to operator and tourism professionals through reskilling and upskilling in the short term, medium and long term, and by online and also on-site training. This is important, and I would like to inform all of you that as advised by Excellency Minister, since 26 June 2020, we have developed the online training management system that's called www.tptd.org. And until now, we provide around 95 training courses for around 140 people, for people that work in the tourism sector, and also for youth and students as well, that they can register to get a free of charge training course by that system. And we continue to promote another courses for the youth and the tourism professional as well. And currently, just yesterday, we just opened another courses that related to the Chinese for tourism courses. And we also provide like a service quality for food and service in the tourism as well. And have many other courses uploading on the system. So the youth and students that are interested in applying or studying on tourism or another field related to tourism, you can access to that system and register for the course for free of charge. Second strategy, we have to promote a tourism professional assessment through on-site and online assessment. And the third strategy, we encourage a tourism professional and a training information registration. Fourth, of the training strategic plan as well, we have to develop the online and on-site training assessment tool, because it's very important for us when we have a course. If we have no training material, we will face a problem, because study by online is different from the on-site on-site training. So the producing of the training and assessment tool is very important. So we have to continue to develop online on-site training assessment tool. So 5 strategy of the training plan, we have to develop a tourism professional competency standard in response to a tourism labor market. As currently, I would like to share to you that in the situation of challenging the COVID crisis, we have seen the importance of using a technology and digital skill. So in this point, for my department, we have doing producing a digital skill competency standard for a tourism professional and a student. And currently, we will promote another courses related to the digital skill as well. So this is another different competency that we have to think and develop more, to be developed more. And 6th strategy, we have to modernize tourism professional training and assessment system and supporting infrastructure, that in the future, like we will be able to develop like e-learning supporting mobile center for the remote area, for the community tourism as well, that area that have no internet access or infrastructure, but for the e-learning support center can provide the offline document for helping them to study by themselves at their places. So this is another strategy. So 7th strategy, you have to enhance the tourism professional development and a labor market. So it's important for this strategy because as you see that everybody losing their job and they move to another job. So when we have a tourism coming back to Cambodia, so how can we attract them to be back to work in the tourism industry? So labor market right here is focused to sharing the job opportunity in the tourism to all of them, to inform them about the opportunity to work in tourism again. So let them back to tourism. So this is another strategy that we have focused on. And based on our system, www.tptd.org, we have also developed a function of labor market for allowing the tourism operator to share their job vacancy and uploading on our system, and the information will be shared to all tourism professionals and people working in the tourism industry within tourism destination. And each strategy we have to promote. Yes, yes. We have to promote a tourism professional competency competition and a tourism digital and a technology contest. And the last strategy of a training plan is to encourage the participation and cooperation with a tourism relevant stakeholders on a tourism training and human resource development. So this is the strategy of a training plan for promoting and upskilling their skill for tourism professional. For another point that I would like to share to you, as Excellency Minister advised to all the department to consider about to develop or prepare our strategy to open again for international tourists traveling to Cambodia. For the training plan for this, we also focus on types of tourists is a vaccinated tourist. So as our plan, we plan to open for the vaccinated tourist package by the end of 2021. And to promote this package for the human resource, I would like to share the key strategy for this. First one, we have to update and manage a tourism labor force first, because we have to know where are they and where they are working right now. So let's turn back to working in tourism industry. So it's very important for us to be updating and managing a tourism labor force currently. Second, we have to promote and sharing tourism job and training. And the three strategy is to promote training and by skill upskilling in the new normal. So right here is the system I mentioned earlier. The system, it have several functions for everybody to explore. It related to training, assessment, job management, and tourism professional data that are useful for both relevant stakeholders, including school as well, to use the system to allow and conduct their online training for their courses as well. So the last of my presentation is focused on the role of a tourism relevant stakeholder for tourism recovery. As you heard about the importance of a technology. So the role of a stakeholder right here is very important for this stage, because without anyone participate in the recovery and development of tourism plan, we will not be able to succeed our tourism development. So it's very important. But the relevant stakeholder for this situation have to be aware of using a technology to support their work, their business, and their activity. So right here we can say it's the era of a tourism 4.0, a digital tourism, that everybody have to know, have to be aware of the digital and technology. that can say 4.0 technology ecosystem for tourism relevant stakeholders. So this is all my presentations. So if you have any question or have any point to not to be clear, you can raise the question to me, and I will try my best to answer to your question as much as possible. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Minwandet. It was very detailed and very precise, and also the presentation have show us a lot of activity also to settle after the COVID. So it's now is the time for the open forum. I am sure we will have some questions from different university or from student or from professor, but we also keep time to open for those who want to share the situation of the tourism in your country as well. Maybe we can start with some question. If you have any question, you can raise the questions to Mr. Minwandet for now. Yeah. Or you can type in the chat book. In the question, one question have raised already. How will Cambodia open for international tourism in Q4 2021 with or without quarantines?
All right. Let me answer to the first question, or we still waiting for another question first, or what?
Maybe I have another question. Mr. Minwandet can respond to the first question first, and then follow with another question, please.
All right, thank you for your question. As I mentioned earlier, as our plan, we try to consider to open for the international tourists by Q4 of 2021. But before we open for the international tourists, we have to comprehensively conduct a study and work closely with another relevant stakeholder, with another institution and body to make sure everything will be good, will be okay for opening for international tourists. As currently we are working on some department, some ministry to produce the concept note, yes, to be passed for the committee, like with COVID, anti-COVID committee, to consider about the opening of the international tourists in the future. After we get the approval from the committee, we will prepare the letter to get the approval from the government. So if we get the approval from the royal government for opening the international tourist arrival to Cambodia, so we can say we will start for opening the tourists to visit Cambodia by Q4 of 2021. But right here, I just would like to share to you about the opening for the national tourists in Q4. For this, it's not a general international tourist. It's just a vaccinated tourist. And vaccinated tourists also a part of the well management package, tour package. It's not like traveling by individual people. It's like traveling by a tour package, which is well managed by any tour company and a tour operator. That is the first step we consider about that. if we success for that package, maybe for the individual will be the next step for opening for their travel to Cambodia. All right, okay. So the question I just would like to share. So any questions? Yes.
បាទជំរាបសួរលោកវ៉ាន់ដេតខ្ញុំលីសវណ្ណាពីមណ្ឌលផ្សព្វផ្សាយព័ត៌មានកាតូលិកកម្ពុជាដូច្នេះតកតងទៅនឹងការបើកឡើងវិញជាមួយនឹងការទទួល
សុំទោសបងដោយសារមានអ្នកចូលរួមអន្តរជាតិច្រើនបងអាចនិយាយភាសាអង់គ្លេសបាន
Okay. Because you have mentioned that it will restart for international tourists maybe in late of 2021, but until now you can see the situation of the COVID is in Cambodia now a little bit more and more, and also the new convert of the pandemic is also very dangerous also. And you have mentioned like a group 2 from group 2 from international tourism agency, but this do you have any like criteria? All the tourists have to quarantine or test or something like that, and also do you have like a specific, like for example, for 1 week and specific place to visit or something like that? Because when a group of tourists arrive here, we do not know who is positive or negative or something like that. First day is not really show in just a few days or something like that. So this is any criteria, or do tourists have to do quarantine or test or check it any something, or maybe pay more for quarantine or something like that? So this is my question. You get my point?
Okay, thank you, Bong. Thank you for your question. Yes, I just would like to add more related to your question, but it seems to be related to the first question, but I would like to share and provide more detail about that. Yes, exactly. We have to develop the criteria to make sure all the tourists coming to Cambodia is okay. It's with the healthy Cambodia. So I can say right here, it's refer to the well management. We have to focus on the well management. Well management of the vaccinated tourist package. So before we allow for that package, we have to do a lot with relevant stakeholders, both at the national and international and regional level. Like we cannot work solely. We have to work with our country partner. Like we have to find the right country that like agree with us on that vaccinated tourist package. And before they allow them to be here, they have to test and prove they are the vaccinated pass, for example, like that. And we have to find a tour company that can be guarantee their vaccinated tourists to be not to be like getting a COVID-19 with them to be in Cambodia. And we have to choose the right hotel. We have to choose the right transportation, everything to be defined clearly before we allow that. So based on that, our technical expert in the department are working on that to develop the criteria, to define criteria. And based on that criteria, we will develop the concept note that I mentioned earlier. And that concept note will be passed to the anti-COVID committee meeting, and the committee meeting will discuss and about the criteria when they see everything is okay for opening the vaccinated tourist package traveling to Cambodia. And then that meeting approved, we will prepare another principle to get approval from the royal government. When the royal government seen that, okay, everything is good and the two package have been well managed. So if the royal government provide approval, and then we can consider to open for the international tourists, vaccinated tourists to Cambodia by the end of 2021. But everything before we decide to open for the vaccinated tourist package to Cambodia, we have to do a lot and everything to be clear first. So I just say and inform you that, yes, we will to do that. We have to define all the clear criteria and the standard for the vaccinated tourist package. And the relevant department of the Ministry of Tourism have been working on that. Thank you for your question.
Thank you. I hear a lot from the Ministry of Tourism and also from Cambodia, like Mr. Director Menwandet had mentioned, the step 1, restart and recover and relaunch, and also a lot of detailed strategy from the Cambodia perspective and from Cambodia governments in different levels. And we have to do with a lot of work. Maybe it's good that we can hear from different country or different university that have experienced. Maybe how is the situation in for example, in Bergamo in Italy is one of the good places in Italy, and how is in Philippines or Malaysia or Indonesia? So any possible we can hear from Bergamo, Italy? Yes, maybe someone from Italy. Federica, yes, Federica, yes. Do you have any clarification or sharing from Italy perspective? Yes.
Yes.
Please.
First of all, thank you very much for the invitation. Our rector, Professor Remo Morzenti Pellegrini, told me to tell you hello, everybody, and thank you for this precious moment that you are sharing with us. At the University of Bergamo, we have a master's degree in planning and management of tourism systems taught in English, with professors and students coming from all around the world. So we have a very interesting perspective on what is happening. And if you want, I can also share in the chat the volume, which is free, that everyone can read because it's published with Creative Commons license. The idea is that what Mr. Menwandet explained us is something really common in other countries of the world. So it has been very interesting to listen to this presentation, especially on the focus on the strategies for facing crisis management of tourism after the pandemic. And the interesting approach of the three main strategies, that is financial support, domestic tourism, and tourism governance, it seems to me very, very connected to what we studied and to what we developed in the book that I will share in a while. And I think what is important is also to stress the point that technologies and digital communication can, in these years, in this period, substitute or being the surrogate of the lack of international tourism in our countries. And so first of all, we have to learn how to communicate our resources, our attractiveness to the international tourists for engaging a process of communication and knowledge of our heritage for the future. So this is, I think, very important in terms of governance. in terms of networking between different domains of the tourism offer, that is between restoration, accommodation, but also between different forms of attractions, cultural, natural attractions, local governments, local institutions, in order to be ready to face a new wave, a new period of tourism in the next years. I think we are not ready now. So we need, first of all, education. We need to form people about a tourism culture, a culture of tourism. And we see in Italy, for example, the presence, I think you probably know the richness of cultural and natural heritage of our nation, but at the same time we need a lot to invest on education, also to tourism operators. So I think that the stress on education for forming a culture of sustainable tourism is needed in this period. So we have really to stress the importance of this. And I think that this initiative that you have today, and the fact that we can create also international networks for making our students, for example, making experiences abroad, come to Italy or come to Cambodia to study this process, which is very similar in the different countries, but in each country it has impacts and cultural different backgrounds. I think we need to form a culture of sustainable tourism all over the world. So if we are together and if we can create connections and networks, I think this is the right form of promoting an education in this sense. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Federica. Federica is from Bergamo University. Yeah, so maybe we hear from Federica talking about the importance of education or training or tourism operation especially for this forum is good to build a network. Maybe we can hear from other countries. Let's say Philippines. How about the situation in Philippines? Yeah, anyone from Saint Vida or IFA or St. Louis? Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody from San Beda University, Philippines. First of all, thank you again for inviting us. And then congratulations and thank you, Director Min Vandet, for sharing such excellent presentation. Definitely, as initially mentioned by Madam Federica, basically, I think all of us are experiencing this difficulty in promoting our tourism given the pandemic condition. And as presented by Director Min Vandet, well appreciated is the Tourism Recovery and Development Plan and the strategic directions and policies, which I'm sure that all of our ministries of tourism have been doing, but more or less there are a lot of innovations which vary. But one most important thing is that all of us is experiencing this difficulty of the tourism workers and communities terribly affected. As mentioned for Cambodia, more or less 40%, same more or less in the Philippines or even more. But basically, considering that quarantine and everything, I noted in the sharing, one very important thing is the conduct of studies. That would mean research-based strategies prior implementation, as all of us would want to recover and relaunch our sustainable tourism industries affecting everybody, all sectors, even those who are having small businesses in the tourism areas. Director Mandet, I'm so interested with step 1, which you mentioned 1.2.2.4, wherein there is this possible of one-way and closed long chartered planes, travel, bubble, safe travel pass with regional countries, including ASEAN Plus. This is something that we can look into the near or farther future, but this is one interesting thing that St. Paul perhaps can initiate, and we can have some kind of collaborations on how to help each other given this. But the most important thing for us, our government has been doing a lot of things to help all sectors possible affected, and perhaps we can share these initiatives, we can share some of our innovations on how we are approaching this. Honestly, our students are the ones attending this. They're from the Department of Economics, and one of their courses or subject is focused on studying development policies, planning, and on all affected different sectors of the government. So the new tourism governance is as well a very important consideration, which we can have a look. But basically, I think we just need to pray for God's blessings that all of us will be able to push through and pass through successfully altogether this pandemic and be back to the usual and very progressive, sustainable tourism industries that we've had. I've been to Angkor Wat, I've been to some places in Cambodia, and more or less we have initial plans of bringing our students to our partner universities like St. Paul. Perhaps in the near future, we can do that all together with each other's collaboration, with each other's initiatives, and with each other's help. So thank you very much and congratulations again, Director Pon Supal. I did not expect that there will be such a sharing. I just came in from another session from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. But this is a very, very important session. And I'm so happy that I was able to join and listen to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Pita. Yeah, the situation is quite similar, but it's different perspective. Yeah, maybe we can hear from Malaysia or from Vietnam. Yes, from other. Do you have any sharing? Because I have no question for this. Now is the open forum. We still have 15
I have
minutes.
a question then. If there's nobody who will, there's something that popped up. May I ask a question to Director Bandet? Yeah.
Okay.
There's this mention about financial support because many tourism workers were affected. Director Bandet, have you started providing financial support? And for how long? Is there a plan on how long will the support be given to the affected tourism workers?
Thank you for your questions and sharing your idea. Concerning your question, I just would like to share information that I heard and I know that the royal government have paid attention to support for the skilled labor in tourism. So as currently we, the royal government still continue provide financial support for the labor force in the tourism. And maybe the royal government still continue when the situation still worse. So the royal government still continue to support the financials to the labor market working in tourism industry. But I don't know for sure when. It depends on the royal government decision.
Yes.
But for the effort, the commitment of the royal government is high to pay attention to support the labor force in tourism, not only tourism, but also another sector as well, like a textile garment sector as well.
Yes, thank you.
So thank you, Director.
Thank you. anyone from Malaysia want to say, want to share from your perspective? Or Frederick, do you have any idea, or you have sharing?
Yeah, thank you. I have a specific question about the tpdt.org site, and that would be my question. So I haven't understood everything. So how many courses are there right now on the TPTD side? How many students have been learning through that site? And is it possible to collaborate with this? Are there some, is it open to outside collaboration, or how is it organized?
Thank you for your question, Mr. Frederick. First of all, I would like to express my pleasure and thanks to your question. And we are happy to work and collaboration with all the relevant stakeholders, including institute, school, or university, or private sectors, or like relevant department, including provincial tourism department and other departments as well, to use our system to train their people or tourism professional or student. Actually, we have that system. We consider about allowing another stakeholder to use our system as well, like Singapore, like Wong Support. We have also working with him to discuss and to help his faculty or institute to use the system to support the online training. So we welcome for all relevant stakeholders to use our system. If you have, you would like to use our system for the e-learning or assessment online or another purpose related to the training for the short course or medium or long-term course, you can contact me directly or contact to my technicians or focal point that listed their phone number on the system. And I could also share to you through WhatsApp to send you the address of the contact person that you can contact for using our system. And for the data of the courses, currently we have around 95 courses, and we provide training for students and youths and the tourism professional of around 140,000 people. Yes. And actually, right here, I see the person who is our lecturers at our system as well. He's from with training school of the tourism. He also, I hear Mr. Kung San. Mr. Kung San, are you here?
Yeah, he's there.
I'm here, Bong. Yeah.
Yeah. You can express your interest about using our system for training in the tourism to relevant stakeholders. Okay, that's fine. Yes, Mr. Kung, also the lecture that came from with World Youth Training Center School of Tourism and Hospitality. That school have cooperated with my department to provide the training courses by online by using the ASEAN Common Competency Standards and Curriculum. So he's a professional, and we appreciate for our lectures, Mr. Kung San, and the school as well. So we hope that I would like to inform all the participants, including relevant stakeholder, school or university from like a different country, Malaysia, Italy, or Indonesia, Philippines, or another country who join this webinar, that if you would like to cooperate with my department, with the Ministry of Tourism, to conduct a training or provide the online training related to the field of tourism in terms of short course or medium or long-term course, okay, you can contact to my department or contact me. I will drop my email to you, then we can work together. Sometimes if you would like to cooperate with my department, we can also reach the MOU between the Ministry of Tourism and your university or institute as well for the long-term cooperation in tourism training and human resource development. Actually, as you see that our system in the future, it's the big data system that manage all the tourism professional. All the people will be registered, their information, their competency, everything in our system. So based on that, when we have a training course announcement, we can send the information to those people, and then they can access quickly for the training course announcement. So it's very useful for all the school, university, and training institute as well. Yes. So this is information, and we are happy to cooperate with all the institute. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Director Min Vandes. I just want to add to Frederick. Actually, myself and a teacher from tourism department, Mr. Prum, we have a first meeting with Director Min Vandes to discuss a further collaboration for this. But because of the spread of the pandemic is very strongly in Cambodia, so we will not yet jump to the action. Actually, we have plans to, in this June or last May or June or July, we come up with the concrete action together with tourism professional training department with Director Min Vandes. But I tell to the tourism department that we have to push for a while, and we will see how it's going on. Especially we have to manage for our student and also for other sector that we have to consider during this COVID-19. So I also can convey this to other university in Italy, in Philippines or in Italy. We can work together as well for this. Like Director Min Vandes had mentioned, it's open for collaboration. But we will see how we do it effectively together. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. As we still have 5 minutes more, or before we take a group photo, any question or any reaction or any sharing? Yes.
So Paul,ខ្ញុំនិយាយមួយម៉ាត់បាន
បាទលោកពិបាលសូមអញ្ជើញ
I want to thank a lot លោកមានវណ្ឌិតដែលបាននិយាយល្អណាស់និងបងភ្លឺយើងច្រើនអរគុណច្រើន Thanks a lot for your presentation. I think also, I speak again about this, we need also to focus a lot about the local tourism. And this time we see that the Khmer people were very happy to go in different places that sometimes they lost. Sihanoukville, the last few years, they lost Sihanoukville because many Chinese people go and the Cambodian people stop to go. Because now is the time also to push and to form. From Bergamo, they speak about culture of tourism. And I believe that we have to establish also a culture of tourism for the Khmer people. And also for the professional of the tourism, to welcome the Khmer people. Because it's very different than welcome the Chinese people, Khmer people, and foreigner people from Europe or from USA. So I think that we have also to teach the professional. And many professionals in Kaep, in Kampot, in Sihanoukville, in Siem Reap, focus only on the foreigner. And when they have to welcome the Khmer people, they are not ready. A few months ago, I went to Siem Reap. No more foreigner, of course, only Khmer people. But when you go to the restaurant, you have no menu in Khmer language. Everything in English. A few weeks ago, I went to Soka Hotel in Bokor, and the food are not focused for the Khmer people. So when you have a dinner there, it's not for the Khmer people. And that we have also to teach as a professional of tourists to welcome the Khmer people and help the Khmer people also to go in different places. And I think also it's a time to develop and to secure the natural place that we have, because many places so difficult to access. The road, electricity, and also to teach about hygiene. When you go to Tatai no Kokong, we can see that it's very dangerous. When you go to Popolvel, the waterfall is very dangerous. So I think it's the time also to secure. We can see in Thailand they do a lot, and to help the Khmer people to enjoy their own country. So I hope that we can get these experiences during COVID-19, that we cannot just have hope on the foreigner, but the Khmer people also is their own country, and we are happy to have this very beautiful country and to know our country. So thanks a lot, and I believe that all together we can do a lot. Bij kom bij kapia kom je pleit na bij sneh COVID op Cambodia niet ook kun.
Yes, thank you, Bishop. Yeah. Like Frederica and Bishop mentioned, it's very maybe new for Cambodian people. I just want to say, but in Italy now, maybe a lot of people in vacation, so they have no work. They have trip with the family to go to different places to visit somewhere. Yeah, it's like Bishop mentioned, it's very good. How can we do it for the culture of tourists to different places? Yeah. Thank you, Bishop. Yeah. Maybe now it's time. I'm so sorry for those who wants to have question, but as we have mentioned, we have to be punctuality, and we have no time for now. We still have only 3 minutes, so maybe we take these 3 minutes to take group photo. And before take a group photo, I just want to express my really thank you very much to Director Min Vandet for great preparation, sharing, and very, very good information. Maybe if possible, we can ask you to share your slides to me. I can share to other participants, yeah, either by PDF or PowerPoints. It's according to your design, but it's good that we have this slide presentation and share to all participants. And also thank you very much to all participants from different countries. Maybe from Japan or from Freiburg they left, but I think they left already. But we still see from Philippines, from Malaysia, and also from Vietnam. Actually, original from Vietnam, but now she is in Philippines. Yeah. So thank you very much for all participants. That really fully participation, and thank very much also to organizing team. So Mr. Dodge and Sutira is very silent, but they work a lot for this to prepare with to have this webinar. And thank you also to Federica from Bergamo, and send my big regards to Professor Rector. Yes, we have a good chat last week with him. Yes, thank you. That's all for me. Just want to say thank you very much that have this happen. And I believe that next time we have conduct more, maybe to have a concrete or the next step of discussion. Yeah. And maybe I would like to ask you to open your camera if you not mind. We can take a group photo. Yes, group photo online now because of the COVID. Thank you. Yeah. The same, Tira, maybe you count 1, 2, 3. So yeah. Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, another ones.
1, 2, 3. Yes.
Okay. Director Min Vandet, thank you very much. Bong Vandet, thank you very much. Yes. Yakutaran, thank you. Federica.
Thank you, Bong. Thank you. Thank you,
Federica,
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Yes, from IFA. Thank you. Bye-bye, Mary. From the
Bye.
Yes, bye-bye. Dr. Tita, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi,
Thanks, Sponsor Paul.
Saturday.
Bye.